Well, guys, thank you so much for considering or purchasing the Nord Stage 3 cover band collection. I'm going to show you today how to quickly and easily install this into your Nord Stage without worrying about losing any of your other samples or any of your other patches. We're going to do it safely and securely, as they like to say in the bag world, and I'm going to show you right now. Here we go. Okay, so now that we have purchased the Nord Stage 3 cover band collection, or theoretically purchased it, we are going to go ahead and have a file that'll show up here. Now, before we get started, I obviously have the file already on my computer because I made the pack on this computer, but I'll go ahead and try and simulate this as close as possible. So when you buy the pack, you're going to get a download to a collection, or the Nord Stage 3 cover band collection patch. I'm sorry, PDF. And we're just going to double tap that in order to open it up. And you're going to have a couple things that are important. It'll tell you what's included. It's going to give you direct download links to download the patches and the sample libraries. And then it's also going to give you a link to the web page that I have with all of the bonus patches. And again, when you first buy this, if you're one of the first people to buy it, there may not be any patches up yet, but they'll come soon. There's also a password that appears right here that I've taken out, obviously, and so that'll be there. Then there's a few other things, like they have the setup guide handy. Basically everything I'm going over in this video will be in the setup guide. Also, there will be a list of all the instrument sounds that I'm using so that you can find them again. They're all free. They're all available at nordkeyboards.com. And sample library will be the same thing. These are all the different samples I'm using. Now, if we go to the song list, this will also give us a list of all the songs we have. And there'll be 205 at the moment in this list. A troubleshooting guide, which is helpful, and then my contact information. So that will be yours. And when we do this, let's scroll all the way back up to the top. We're just going to click this link, and then it'll download the files to our download folder. Now, obviously, I've already got this here, so I'm going to just close that and open up my downloads folder. And let's just open it in the Finder. It is right here. I'm going to drag it to the desktop, double tap it, and then wait for this to expand. And it's about a gigabyte, so it may take just a second to expand. And then I'm going to double click on the folder, and there are 3 folders here that we're going to talk about. The first one are the patches. So these are the things that you're going to install into the patch section. That's all the individual songs. Second one is the piano samples. These are all of the samples you'll need to move into your piano section library. And I'll show you how to do that in just a second. And then last but not least is the sample library, and that goes into your sample library folders. Now, next thing you're going to want to do is go over to Safari and type in nordkeyboards.com, and let's just start there. Oh, look, there's their pretty product page. Let's go to software. When we get to software, we're going to look for the Nord Sound Manager. We'll tap there, and then you're going to need to install this on your computer. And I'm on Mac OS 10.7 or later. That's what I'm going to be using here. I've obviously got that installed already, but you would just tap on the download button right here in order to get it. And that would download it to your product page. Now, once we've done that, we're going to open it up, install it. I've already done that, so I can't show you that part, but then I'm going to just open Nord Sound Manager, and this is going to fire up. Now again, we're going to have to use our imaginations here in order to be able to understand, because I have all the stuff already installed. So what I'm going to do is just basically like pretend to install this stuff. I know, if I was a real developer, I'd actually like, I don't know, maybe get a second Nord stage and like wipe all the stuff and reinstall it and all that stuff. But I'm not, okay? I'm just some schmo who makes these patches. Okay, so you remember those three different sections that we have. We've got the sample library, piano samples, and patches. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to need to drop in the patches, these, directly into the program. Now, there's two ways you can do it. You could just drop it in if you have the space open. Like the banks, you're going to need 205 bank spaces open. Or you're going to need to make some room. In order to do that, you're going to hit Command O for organize on your keyboard. And this will show you all the blank spaces. Or if you don't have any blank spaces, it'll just show you where everything's located. When you do that, you can hold down Shift and select some spots that you want to maybe move off, like maybe say, okay, I don't really need I Hope You Dance. I just want to feel this moment in your eyes. It had to be you. It's all right. Okay, so I've selected those. Then what I can do is hit Sound Upload. When I do that, it's going to upload all of these patches into my into somewhere on my computer. So I'll hit the upload button. I get to choose, and then I would hit Open for that to happen. And then I could just delete them and be totally good to go. Obviously, I'm not going to do that right now, but that's how you get stuff backed up. Then you would just insert the songs you want into here from the patches. Now, the next two folders here, really, really important. The first one is the piano samples. So the piano samples you're going to need to install will be these here. You can just select them by holding Shift and drag them in and drop them. Now, I'll come here in just a second. We'll be doing some troubleshooting because there's going to be some things that you might run into that we'll need to talk about it. Most of the time, you're not going to have room enough here without swapping out some sounds. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about that in just a second. But bear with me for the moment. That's how you do it. Now, same thing applies to sample libraries. We come over here, we grab sample library, select them all, and drag them in wherever we decide we want to have them. Now, a couple things. One, if you do not have room in your piano sample library, which most people don't, there's a couple things you can do. One, you can make some room by just deleting some samples. There's a thing here that says unused. If you're not using any of these samples, it'll show up as unused. And I've tried to make this as absolutely efficient as possible with the least possible samples. And so that's one way you can do it, is just by using these. Another thing you can do is if you go, you can actually go to nordkeyboards.com and go to their sound libraries and sub in smaller versions. Like for instance, if I go to the Nord piano library, I have a white grand piano that is 244.9 megs. We could sub in a white grand small and it would totally work. You could definitely do that. And it would save you all of that extra gigabytes. It's not going to sound as good, but that's one option you could do. And you could sub that in as you go. So that's the first option. Other thing that a lot of times people run into is they'll drag and drop something like this, and then this will come up, download failed. The file ballad EP2 is, it goes, please try again with the correct target bank. That means that you're trying to drag it into the wrong place. The way that you can get around this is you're going to need to just drag these individually into the correct banks. So like the ballad one will go into the layer bank. And I'm sorry, I wish I had labeled these earlier, but you can just drop those in most of the time and no problem. Another thing that you might have is you could drop in the ballad EP2 here, and it'll say it already exists. If that's the case, that's fine. Just hit OK. And we can do all of the same thing with the sample library. Again, you're going to want to delete anything that you don't have used at the time. So like all of these are not used in this collection, so I could get rid of them. If I drop something in here and it's already there, it's going to say the sample is used by 3 program synth presets. Yeah, I don't want to substitute. I don't want to download it. I'm going to just hit cancel because it's already there. So that's fine. So that's how you install this stuff. Now, there's one more thing we'll talk about real quickly here. But I'm going to go ahead and hop off a screen recording in order to show you. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to show you real quick is a case where you've loaded in a patch and you've just decided like, look, I love the sounds that I have. I don't want to sub them out. That's fine. You can actually make this work as well. It's just going to take a little more effort on your part to get it right. So for instance here, just for demo purposes, I've deleted the sample we need for this one, which is the EP2. And so as you can see, this light is flashing over here and it'll say piano not found. This only applies to the piano section. With the sample library, there's not much you can do because there's not equivalent samples that you can sub in and out. But in this one, an EP is going to sound pretty close to an EP, or a piano will sound pretty close to a piano. So what you could do is click this using the list, and you could sub in another one like the EP4. I don't think I used this in the cover band pack, but I'm not sure. Regardless, it's there, and it's going to sound very, very similar to the original. And there we go. Yeah, so that sounds almost identical to the original. But that's the way that you can get around it. You could theoretically do this with other ones as well, like even like the Day of Wine. Let's say you had the white piano is the one it's called for, and that one was missing. You could easily sub in the Royal Grand, which is another one that's really popular. And again, it's not going to sound identical, but it'd be close enough. Okay, guys, so I'm sure that you have a ton of other questions about the install process. Hopefully, I'll have some support docs up on the website that'll help. But if you can't find what you're looking for, just email me. I'll try to get back with you soon. Thank you so much for taking the time to work with this. If you bought it, I hope you enjoy it. If you haven't bought it yet, maybe consider trying it out. So thanks so much, and we'll see you later.